All right. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we got going on. All right. Get my chat pulled up here real quick. All right. Get everything pulled up here. Let's retry. Reset. Trying to get chat pulled up here real quick. All right. All right. Let me taking a look here. We do have a pretty substantial severe thunderstorm warning here over near Wichita. Inch and a quarter hail, 60 mile an hour per mile mile an hour winds. Doesn't look like there's anything that we should be concerned about on rotation or anything. This first line of storms moving through, but we'll keep an eye on that. I'm surprised nothing's popped up down here in the Oklahoma area. We were supposed to be getting some of these starting to pop off here. I think about 4 o'clock, so maybe in the next 30 minutes or so, we should see a drastic uptick in that. Because what we can do is we can actually jump over to just the HRRR here, kind of see what we let that load. So yeah, up here in near Buffalo Woodward area, this line right through here, we should see some stuff starting to pop off, and this is really where we're going to start to see those that tornadic activity starting to happen. So um, this is going to all push off towards Wichita, and we're going to have a lot of potential for tornadoes out of these cells here, moving off to the northeast as that happens. So as these pump off, they could grow pretty large and be kind of discrete cells, and potentially put off some pretty large tornadoes with some of these storms here. Let's see here. So if we look at the Cape right now, um, so this is a very unstable. Um, Once those storms start to pop off, we're going to have a lot of energy to start pulling from, which is going to cause them to increase in size extremely quickly. Um, this is an unstable Cape, so it's got a lot to look at the significant tornado parameters. So all through here, all through Enid, all the way up to the Kansas line, and then onward as these start to push off. I guarantee you that line's going to continue to move along here. So as we move into 5, 6, 7, so as time goes on, this is just going to become extremely unstable through here for a potential for very, very large tornadoes and supercells. So let's take a look here. So that the storm that they're predicting to pop off here on the HRRR, the composite reflectivity. So let's pull this back. So this storm here, um, over near Medicine Lodge, this thing right here on this line is going to be potentially a very strong, very dangerous situation depending on where this storm actually starts to pop off, because it's going to be in an extremely unstable and favorable area for tornadoes. And as this moves off into the Wichita area and onward, it's going to be discrete, very large, capable of producing very, very bad, um, a very, very bad storm. So right now, what we can take a look at real quick is these are the storms right now. We have some over here, Wichita and Sedgwick. Um, we come over this way, kind of cross it over this Oklahoma to Missouri border, um, and Arkansas border. Some pretty substantial severe thunderstorm warnings. Probably not going to be tornadic. Got an inch, 60 mile an hour winds right now. We do have a little bit of hail core. Um, So if you're in these areas as it moves off, you're going to get a lot of rain, probably some decent wind and hail. So just be on the lookout over here near J, um, 4 near Interstate 412. These are just moving off in this direction, going towards Gentry, Colcord. You're going to be getting hit here soon. Um, Noel, Ginger, all these places under the severe thunderstorm warning as these exit to the east, northeast. We get a lot of convection starting to happen all through here. This is pretty much just rain, and it's going to move off um, to that east northeast. So you can see it's all kind of moving off this direction here. Which we're kind of just waiting, and I'm going to see if anything starts to pop up along this line here. That's going to be a potential for some pretty big and bad storms. Brad Arnold over here chasing. Let me take a look here real quick. All right. He's on loop here. Um, One of these storms here are going to start popping off, and it's going to probably grow pretty large. One of these little blips here. Every large storm starts out as a small little blip, so um, once it starts to take off, the night isn't going to slow down from that point. It's going to get a lot worse. We do have over here in Colorado, if we go take a look, this one actually was on some of the traffic cameras um, here just a little bit ago. So it looks like it's still holding that tornado warning. Take a look at velocity, which is surprising. I think it's just because it has been a confirmed tornado multiple times, recirculated. Um, we got a little bit of little bit of rotation here um, off of this storm. So we can kind of come back and forth to this one. I don't think it's anything super large. There's some reported damage off of this one over here in Colorado. Back here, I think it had started off down here by Bennett, and it moved across. I think where I'd seen it, it was over near a cemetery, maybe this Bennett Cemetery, somewhere in here. Take a look here. All right. So with all these, mainly going to be all right. There's not a whole lot really going on. We do have this storm over here. We'll just take a look at it again. Reflectivity. Let's take a look at the storms over here in Oklahoma moving into Missouri area. Are some severe thunderstorm warnings, but these are not the concern tonight. It's the storms that are going to start popping off over here um, near the Oklahoma and Kansas border. Should be somewhere within the near here, Buffalo, Woodward, in this vicinity. We're going to start seeing some convection happening, and these storms are going to take off extremely quickly. Because I was just looking at the models for this. Take a quick look at it. So we look at this unstable cape here. We can see all in this area we have extremely unstable cape. So we're talking 5,000 joules per kilogram, which is quite a lot. And it's going to skyrocket these storms to grow very quickly. So once they start, so what's happening is these storms are really wanting to take off. There's probably somewhat of a cap in place. So once it breaks that cap with all this unstable cape up in the atmosphere, it's going to fuel these storms tremendously. So you're going to have these very discrete storms that were able to break through the cap. And then once it has all this unstable convective available potential energy, it's going to get wild. So because we can even take a look at this tornado parameter all through here, pretty decent tornado parameter to start off. And as the night goes on, this is only going to get worse. We can see that here at 5 p.m. Very dangerous situation right here along the border. So as that moves on, it's just going to continue to grow as the night goes on. So here at 10 p.m., this is a massive potential for tornadoes. So any tornadoes within this zone in this area, it's going to have the chance to really take off and potentially cause damage. So let's take a look here. So I want to say it's the dew point right now. We're talking 70s. So all throughout Oklahoma here, even along the border into Kansas, like we're talking near 70 degree dew points, which is fantastic for um, severe storms. So we can see this dry line right here. As this pushes off, this is where these storms are going to start to fire. So let's stay here over the next hour as this moves on. So this is where we're at right now. And as that dry line really starts to set up and push, you can see that these things will start to fire off like crazy. So I think our biggest time frame that we're going to see a lot of extremely bad weather is going to be between that 8 to 10 o'clock time frame. Um, and that's really going to just be firing off storms all in this area around Wichita, along the Kansas and Oklahoma borders, and we will have to watch that very closely. So let's take a look here real quick. All right. So we will really want to be watching all of this, making sure that, because as these start to fire off, we really need to be paying very close attention to the weather in this area, because there's not going to be a whole lot of time. It's just going to happen, and it's gonna go quick. So let's take a look at something else real quick. We have So if we take a look at the helicity, which is the different directions that the wind is moving in the atmosphere, so you have a very so this is where they're mapping out. I would say if you're anywhere within the zone along the Oklahoma and Kansas border, maybe not even as far as Wichita. I'm just taking from what I've seen from all the other parameters, and we take a look at this. Something's going to be firing off in this area right here. This is where something's going to be firing off. Some of the storms are going to come up, and then they're just going to skyrocket across Kansas. It's a very serious spot, very serious zone. So, oh, we must have just got a. Let's take a look at this. Tornado watch likely. This is a mesoscale discussion that's just been put out. Let's take a look at that real quick. So this was the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. This is this whole area right here that's going to be affected. The summary scattered supercells capable of strong tornadoes and very large hail are forecast for late afternoon into evening from parts of northeast Oklahoma into southwest Kansas. EF3 plus. That is big. That's a huge thing. I haven't seen that this year yet. It's mostly been EF2 plus, so EF3 plus. Like they're talking big tornado potential along this. So we really need to be taking a look um, and keeping an eye out for all of this because these parameters right here are insane. The helicity is there for extremely big rotating mesocyclones. Let's take a look at it's like the supercell composite here. Let's go back. So this is where we're at right now. As we move on, look at this. The parameters go out the roof for supercell initiation. So all along this line here, just extreme parameters for supercell potential. And I mean, you pair that with the tornado potential. We're talking a very significant night for the Kansas, Oklahoma area. So as that moves on, boom. So this is significant tornado parameters taking into account all the other things. So this is right now. So just within the next hour at 4 o'clock, so that's here in the next 20 minutes, this uptick becomes very high. We're talking like about 5,000 joules per kilogram. Let's take a look at that real quick. On the surface space. Cape. So look at that. 5,000 joules per kilogram on the Cape potential, which is the convective available potential energy. And that is insane. These storms are going to have a ton. As soon as it breaks through that cap that's in place, these storms are going to just explode. So that's why we got to take a quick look at radar and keep it a close eye on any storms forming in this area right here, because as soon as these storms start to form anywhere within this zone, there ain't gonna be no stopping them. So let's take a look over here. So this is a chance you take. I thought things were going to start popping off. This one's going to probably pop off here. There's multiple storm chasers already on this. Let's take a look at. That's not what I wanted. Echo tops. So these are already starting to rotate. These are just little blips starting to form on the map that already are starting to have some rotations within that. Let's take a look at echo tops. These things are probably, yeah, these things are already starting to shoot off over here. This is that first lane that we were looking at on that those parameters on the models over here. So if we look at the helicity, which is going to paint kind of a picture, this is where those storms were that we were just looking at right over here. So as these storms start to pop off, like look at this, and these can be off, like this could be right here, but look at that, it's insane. And then I would say there's going to be another storm that pops off somewhere down here that's going to start popping off right within the next hour, and it's going to take off. So it looks to be the first one that's starting to pop off up here in this zone, which is going to go probably north of Wichita. There's going to be eventually some down in this region, either that goes through Wichita or down to the south end of Wichita near the Oklahoma and Kansas border. We're just going to keep a very close eye on that. But this is starting to pop off pretty heavily. Um, go ahead and do this. Come on. There we go. And there's that storm. The initial storm popping off over here by them. Let's see rotation. Very intense. All right. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. What? Okay, let's just pause that for now. Come over here. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. Everything's set up on